What have I got myself into? So real quick, if you work for OSHA, just close your eyes real quick. All right, you're good, you can open them. Welcome back to the channel, guys. All joking aside, you really don't want to put chemicals on your hands like paint thinner, because what happens is your skin absorbs it and it filters into your body, and then it gets filtered by your liver or your kidney. I can't remember which one. I'm not exactly a doctor. I did sign up for community college. I tried to go, couldn't find parking, and I just left. So, you know, these chemicals and these fumes that are in the air, they're probably a cause for a lot of the dumb jokes I tell too. Maybe just a little bit of brain damage in there, I'm not gonna lie. But hey, that color was recommended to me in the comments by you guys, and that was Makita teal, and that's what we went with on this window. Check it out. This came out super good. I'm really happy with it. I'm not quite done with it yet. I got to pull the masking and buff it a little bit more, but I'm gonna show you some up close on this because I did something a little bit special. All right, so real quick on these colors real quick, because this is kind of interesting. So Makita, they have this kind of bluish green teal. I don't know what to call it. And you know what? I'm not exactly the best with colors either. I was deemed colorblind in boot camp when I was in the Marine Corps, so go figure. But this color and this color are the same tool, obviously. They're on the same piece of equipment. And even those two colors right there are a little bit different. So I started doing some research. I really didn't want to go try to match this at Sherwin-Williams or anything, but I came across this. This is called Lagoon from Rust-Oleum, and it's a pretty close match to this Makita teal. And I was like, hey, that's already, you know, in a rattle can. I can just spray the window with that. But I was like, I kind of want to do a weathered look. And since I was already getting the rattle cans, I was like, well, let me throw a black on it first, a flat black. Then I'll put the Makita teal over it, and then I'll kind of distress the edges a little bit. And that's what we did here. And I think it looks super cool. Let me show this to you. So I installed this window in the last video. If you guys missed it, you can go back and watch it. But I did it with all Windsor One stuff. So that stuff already had, you know, white primer on it, and all these boards were white. So like I just mentioned, I sprayed that flat black Rust-Oleum over it. I sprayed the teal over that, and then I knew I wanted to distress it, and that was kind of the whole point of putting that black undercoat, because when these things kind of get sanded, you can kind of see the layers of it, and it looks really cool. So the distressing part of this, I'm pretty much done with it. I still got to do the kind of red pads on the surf prep and kind of buff the finish a little bit, but I'm really happy with the way this thing came out. And I've never really distressed anything, so I was kind of like, well, I don't want to like get carried away with it and just make it look like super rustic. So I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna lightly hit it in the corners, make it look like if it was in like a high traffic area, it kind of got scraped a little bit, you know, a couple little nicks or something. But I didn't want to just like gouge it and sand it down to like crazy. But I'm really happy with it so far. It just looks super cool. And this right here, I would say, is like a little appetizer for what we have planned for this entire house. We're gonna do a lot of these kind of funky, weird, you know, off the wall kind of things, because Ashley and I both agree that's what we like. We don't really like that whole like finish, polished off, extremely, you know, factory finish look, which is nice. We'll probably have some of that. I'll probably try to spray some of like the more ornate stuff that I do. I got a lot of plans, let me tell you. You guys don't even know, which is a bad thing, you should know. So we'll probably do a house tour this week, and Ashley and I can both walk you through the house, get some ideas from you, just like this one, the Makita. Found that in the comments, like had multiple comments saying paint it the Makita teal, and it worked out. And I'm gonna be talking more about that Makita saw by the end of this video, but I really want to finish this up, just buff it a little bit more, show you guys what I'm doing, pull the tape and touch up around it, and we'll see just how crisp it looks with all this masking gone. So yeah, let's freaking check it out. All right, so let me explain to you guys what I did real quick. Now, I don't even know what to call this kind of finish, because this is a complete experiment for me, and you'll probably be seeing a lot of these experiments in this shop. But like I already mentioned, I did the boards were already primed, and then I did the flat black undercoat, the teal on top of that, and lightly distressed it. So the light distressing was actually done with 120 grit sandpaper by hand, like these heavy areas where you see it distressed. I just got that and just kind of scraped across it, and then took that finish off. And when I thought it looked kind of natural, I left it alone. And it was really hard to like decide, am I done distressing this or does it need more? But I think right now is the exact look I want. So I distressed it, finished that up, and then after that was done, I knew the satin from the rattle cans was not a satin that I liked. I usually like satin. It's a really nice sheen, but coming at it from this Rust-Oleum, it looked more like a semi-gloss, and it was really not my thing. You know, my thing for trim, cabinets, millwork is always a soft sheen. I don't like semi-gloss and above, complete personal preference, but I just like the trim to look more serious and, you know, not asking for so much attention on sheen. But yeah, I knew like I didn't want that. So I was like, well, I'll take my little surf prep here. I need to sand this thing anyways before I put like a clear mat over it, which I plan to do. And I got these little abrasion pads on my surf prep sander. And these are good for buffing finishes and just really kind of polishing things off. So I got that on here. I got the surf prep sander turned all the way up just because it makes sense for this application. I started with it as low as possible, but then once I figured it's not gonna rip the paint off, I just turned it up. It has three settings of RPMs. So it's on the highest one, which is 9,000 orbits per minute. So I just went around with that and kind of buffed everything. And from the view that you're at right now, straight on, you can't really tell, but it is more of a matte finish now. So I kind of buffed that satin to a matte finish and it looks great. I don't even think I'm gonna put a matte clear coat over it. The only reason I would do that is to kind of protect the distress marks that I made. And I actually may still do that just because I'm experimenting, like I said. So that's how I got this look. It really not much to it. Really convenient spraying with those rattle cans and not cleaning out the sprayer and using the chemicals to go from one color to another. So that was pretty cool that, you know, I never thought I would spray trim with a rattle can, but here I am experimenting. And it'd be the same thing with the sprayer. If I got this mixed up at like a Sherwin or something or a Benjamin, you know, I'd do the same process, but I'd be doing it with a sprayer. And it'd be water-based, so that'd be a little bit different too. So these kind of solvent-based rattle cans, actually pretty cool if you can get away with it, but usually we're spraying way too much to do it. And it was difficult. Like with my Graco sprayer, I throw on like a 310 or a 210 tip, depending on what I'm doing, and I got a nice fan with the rattle can. I mean, it is tough because you got this little circle. You could change the cap or whatever, but I didn't do that, and I got it done. But it was hard spraying this, so but convenient. So, anyways, I'm gonna keep buffing this stuff, and then we'll tear this masking down. You can really see that what that buffing pad can do up against that natural light coming through that door. It's just giving you a nice, soft, kind of matte reflection. It just looks super cool. I like it a lot. It's just super cool what these little pads can do. Just polish that finish off so good. Gotta love it. This is gonna be sweet. I'm probably gonna put like a Makita, like, I don't know, like get like a stencil or a sticker or something, or just, it would just be so cool to put that right here. Dude, that would be awesome. So yes, I am returning my basically brand new Makita miter saw, and there's really one reason why. This thing, there's a deal breaker on this thing that I didn't really know was gonna be a deal breaker until it happened. It's the laser. So the laser I thought would be fine. I thought it would be like just like the shadow line, like it's gonna show you where the blade cuts and you know, all good. But it wasn't. Like trimming out this window, using that laser, putting that laser on the material and seeing where it's gonna cut, it was really just confusing to me. I didn't like it. I had to creep up on all my cuts because the laser was just weird. We tried to calibrate it, and even when we got it, it was just like, just odd. I didn't like it at all. And this is probably because I've been on a DeWalt with the shadow line for like a decade. So it's, you know, to switch over to something like that, it just wasn't good for me. So thankfully, Makita's new XGT 40 volt miter saw, that's basically this saw upgraded, which I didn't even know was a thing, because as much as I like tools and everything, I don't really keep up with what's going on in the tool world as far as like the next best new thing, because I just don't, honestly really don't care. You could chase that rabbit forever because every year there's like a new this, a new that. But there is a new Makita saw that's just like this one, 12-inch dual bevel. I mean, exact same thing, but it's a 40 volt instead of the 36 volt like this one, and it has the shadow line. So this thing is still within the return policy period. So I've already got this set up to go back, and I've already got the other saw ordered. So when I get that saw, I think they said it'll be shipped next week if they get it from Makita. This is a brand new saw. It's coming direct from Makita. I paid $1,500 for it. This one was $1,150. So a little bit more money, but it's worth it to me to get that shadow line. So overall, I love this saw, but I can't do the laser. Just can't do it. So here's a look at that laser. I've got it turned on right now, and you can see it. And it's a nice clean line, but I just can't do it. It's just odd to me. And that is projecting from up here inside the blade guard area. You can see a little light there. And then here's a look at the shadow line on the DeWalt. It's just so much more vibrant and cleaner, and it's coming from kind of that same area up there. It just casts a shadow on both sides of the blade, so you get the perfect look at exactly where it's going to cut. So overall, I still love this Makita saw. Like I said, I'm getting the upgraded one, it's already ordered. And you know, the benefits of it, having it where it can get real close to the wall with this, you know, rail system up in the front, it just makes sense in my space here. But the DeWalt is still a good saw. We're still going to use these DeWalts in the field. And if I like these enough, I'm going to probably sell those and then upgrade to these for our field work as well. So, and this isn't just me thinking this saw is amazing. I had Brent Hull over here. He made some cuts with this thing. He said it was super smooth, better than the DeWalt. I also had a guy named Tom, who's actually the inventor of this fence right here, this Kaizen fence, which you guys have seen me use on this DeWalt. This is the upgraded Pro model Kaizen fence. And he was a carpenter for like 25 or 30 years, a trim carpenter. And he invented that fence to solve a lot of issues. He said this thing was smooth. And yeah, it's John. John says this thing is amazing. So the saw is great. We just got to get that shadow line. So I don't know, let me know what you guys think of shadow line versus laser. I'm definitely a shadow line kind of guy, but we're making progress, and I just cannot wait for my machines to arrive. Next machine I'll be talking about, this is one that's already here, is the Harvey Gyro G700. We'll be talking to you guys about that probably in the next video. So other than that, I will catch you guys on the next one.